Vaibhav. In today's session, we are seeing the USDJPY finding support closer to 110.5 level, and it looks likely that yesterday's correction is not going to be a trend-changing phenomena. But on the lower side, as long as some supports are intact, I think the underlying momentum from the longer term to medium term perspective, which has been bullish, is going to hold, and it will be better for us to still continue to look for the buying opportunities instead of changing our mind. In yesterday's session, I had talked about the possibility of USD JPY breaking above the 111 level. It didn't really materialize in yesterday's session, but I think going forward, the possibility is still quite strong. So we will be looking at the opportunities which might come our way in today's session. If we consider the data docket for the day, we had multiple data points for major economies of the world, starting from the Japan and even in the European trading hours, we got the data for major European economies, including the France, Germany, United Kingdom, and also some other countries. And I will only consider the major data point, considering we have plenty of data points if we want to cover all. So if we consider the economic sentiment indicator for the month of June, we are seeing improvement here. And now for this month, it has gone up to 117.9 compared to 114.5. So that's a quite robust improvement. And this is mainly being driven by the rising confidence amongst the people that vaccination is going well, and more and more economies are opening up. So that has boosted the people's confidence to go out and spend, and that has helped improve the industrial as well as service sentiment. And people are also expecting the inflation to rise, but not substantially. We also got the inflation data for the Germany, and it is about 2%, and it is likely to be sustained in this range for foreseeable future. Moving on to the US trading hours, we have this consumer confidence data, and some improvement is still expected for this month. We have seen for last couple of months it has been rising, and that has pushed the consumer confidence to almost closer to its multi-year high. But given the robust expansion happening in the US economy, I think the people are going to be confident, and we have these stimulus measures in place, and also the economy is opening up. So the people have more avenues to earn and spend now. So that has boosted the consumer confidence for United States. Now let's shift our attention to the technical side. First, we will see the currencies space, and in that, the USDJPY is the instrument of choice. And amongst the commodity, we will be considering the light crude oil for today's technical analysis. So let's start with the USDJPY's technical outlook. This is the daily time frame chart, and here, as you can observe, we have consolidation in USD/JPY for last couple of days. In today's session, also the range has been fairly narrow, and it looks likely that USD/JPY is going to spend the session in a narrow range and on the higher side. I'm not really expecting any big move in today's session, but the undertone is still bullish if you consider this formation. It has been of higher highs and higher lows for last couple of months, and this time around, the expectation is that we will see a firm and a sustained breakout above these prior swing high established in the March. So that is what we are betting on. And even if we consider that last couple of sessions have not really seen any significant up move, but still, unless and until any break on the lower side happens below 110, I think the medium term trend remains bullish. Of course, we will have to play with the trend and for figuring out the optimum entry and exit points, we will have to rely on lower time frame charting where we can consider these first resistance of this month's pivot point series, which is there around 110.4 to act as a near-term support given the fact that we had this breakout early on and after that the USDJPY has sustained above it, caught in between these first and second resistance for this month's pivot point series. And if you consider the regression curve, it is still inclined on the higher side. Only thing is that the price has moved to the lower band, and it will be important if we want this bullish momentum to continue. Then the USDJPY will need to climb back again above this prior swing high, yesterday's high, which is fairly close to 111. So here, as long as this support is intact, both from the point of view of price action, where the immediate swing low is just little above this first resistance. So considering this factor, I think it will not really be prudent to go for any short sell trade in today's session, but we can continue to look for buy trade anywhere closer to 110.5 or above that while keeping the stop loss closer to 110.4 or little below that. So stop loss is not going to be much wide, and on the higher side we can expect the USD to try to climb back to 111 in today's session itself. And even if we don't really go for any big swing trade, and even if we don't really count on the fresh breakout, which is quite expected. We will still be getting the good risk reward ratio. So we can keep these levels in mind. This convergence of these three SMAs can be utilized while figuring out the optimum entries and exit points. So on the lower side, this 200 SMA is going to be our critical marker, and the USDJPY should continue to hold above it. And today's low, the day's low, which is there around 110.45, can be utilized as a stop loss area from the intraday perspective. And as long as this level is not breached, I think we can be fairly confident of further move towards the yesterday's high, which is there around 111. So that's my take looking at the USD technical formation. Now, let's see how the things are unfolding for the light crude oil. This is the daily time frame chart, and the light crude oil has been gaining the. It has been rising for many months now after making a low closer to these $60 per barrel level. We have seen the sustained bullish momentum in the light crude oil, pushing the price closer to its 2.5 year highs, and it almost touched the US$75 per barrel level. And after that, it has gone in some correction in yesterday's session. We saw decline of around 2 percentage point, and today's session also it is trading in the correction zone. So I think after this phenomenal run, some correction can't really be ruled out. And in near term, I am expecting the light crude oil to go on to correct towards this immediate support, which is there around 38.2% of Fibonacci retracement of its rally. So we can expect this correction to play out, and we can try to exploit this situation to our advantage, and we can continue to look for the trades from a short-term perspective, scalping trades mainly. So if you want to go for the light crude oil trade in today's session, you will have to keep in mind this immediate high, swing high, which is there around US$74, and that can be utilized as a critical marker. And unless and until we have any fresh breakout above that, we can be continue to look for shorting opportunities. And on the lower side, as I said, we can expect this low established in the earlier part of this month to be tested again. So that's what I am counting on in the light crude oil. If you consider these technical parameters, both these parameters are still pointing to the continuation of the bullish trajectory, and that is the reason why we are not really looking for any big swing trade here. Rather than that, the scalping intraday trades will be a much better idea, and we will have to trade cautiously. We will have to keep the stop losses and the target prices sharp so that we don't really end up losing too much money in case our anticipation doesn't really work out. So for today's session, I think it will be better to short it on the lower side rather than go for the short anywhere closer to this higher range. So in today's session, the light crude oil should again try to break below the immediate low established around US dollar 72 per barrel level, and in only that case we should continue to go with our bearish stance and try to exploit the situation. But if we see that the light crude oil goes on to rise above this convergence of 50 and 100 SMA, in that case we will have to sit on the sidelines. Right now it is trading in this narrow range, and it is just little below the US dollar 73 per barrel mark, and I'm expecting it to spend the day mostly in consolidation phase. Late in the night, we also have the API's inventory data coming in, and that can move the market price of the light crude. So we will have to watch out for that. And any breakout on the lower side can be exploited while keeping the stop loss as our immediate swing high. Immediate swing high can be utilized as our stop loss. So here, sit on the sidelines as long as there is no clear-cut breakout. But as and when we have the break below this today's low, we can continue to go with the trend, and on the lower side, the price move of around US dollar 71 or even below that can be expected, while we go with the stop loss closer to this immediate high. Today's high should be good enough. So that's my take looking at the current price trajectory of the light crude oil. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you next time. Till then, goodbye.